What began as a murder mystery to uncover the truth behind Jason Blossom's death in a seemingly idealistic small town has since taken a supernatural turn. The characters have been introduced to witchcraft and superpowers, and even alternate universes too. Word on the streets of Riverdale is that writer Stephen King was a major source of inspiration behind the show's supernatural fiction, and Lili Reinhart hints at what the final season has to offer. Lili Reinhart, a leading star of Riverdale, famous for playing the iconic good girl Betty Cooper, is teasing the end of the show and saying that Season 7 is refreshing. The CW series debuted in 2017 as a modern reboot of the Archie Comics franchise and quickly became one of the network's most successful programs, gaining further popularity on Netflix. The CW confirmed in March that the Archie Comics adaptation will end after its 7th season, which is set to premiere next year. Fans of the show last saw Cheryl when she was using everyone's powers to destroy Bailey's comet and save the people of Riverdale, but in the end they found that the characters had traveled back to the 1950s, portrayed as teenagers once more, and only Jughead seemed to recall what had happened, where the show goes from here and how it decides to handle its finale. In a recent interview with Extra, Lili Reinhart teased the final season of Riverdale and what fans can look forward to, saying, "I think the fans who have been along for the ride since season 1 are going to really appreciate our ending. Has anyone been around for the whole ride? Let us know." The season is taking place in the 50s, which promises a lot of fun. When talking about the show's new setting, she said it gives a refreshing take on the characters. She also said that the finale would end beautifully. Riverdale's final season is shrouded in mystery, and given the show's developments and frequent twists over the years, anything is possible. The series is likely not to remain in the 50s, but audiences can expect many episodes to explore the mystery of its sudden change in setting. The fate of Cheryl Blossom after the season 6 finale remains a mystery, but Madelaine Petsch teased that fans will have to tune in to find out if she survived the comet blast. It remains to be seen whether Jughead can solve the mystery of what happened to his friend or possibly get them to remember. We know that Jughead loves a mystery. Reinhardt's comments about Riverdale's ending will probably delight fans of the show, who have already begun preparing for the upcoming episodes. Those looking forward to discovering how Season 7 will conclude after 6 years on television can be sure to tune in when Riverdale premieres next year. Though fans are not ready to say goodbye, Lili Reinhart is starting to make plans for the future. The actress behind the hit series charts her next moves. It may shock you to hear, but before joining the cast of Riverdale, Lili had never read Archie. When she finally started reading the Archie's comic books, she was left confused. "I thought Archie would be a superhero with special powers. After all, he was based on a comic book character. And in my mind, all comic book figures had superpowers. I kept reading, waiting for those skills to kick in, but they never did." It's crazy to think that the stars of the show have gone through so much together personally and professionally. Lili was just 19 when she was cast for the show. I've spent practically my entire adult life playing her. It was quite an education. Riverdale was my introduction to fame. What a trip that is. And who remembers the famous Sprouse heart? And recently, Reinhart has many a reason to celebrate. She had been named the Max Mara face of the future and would be honored at the brand's Women in Film ceremony in October, which happened to fall a month after her 26th birthday, which was spent in LA days after returning from a trip to Venice. Reinhart is of course also preparing for the final season of Riverdale, which is shooting in Vancouver, Canada. "It's been and will be a huge portion of my life," she said. "There will be lots of tears and laughs on the final day. I have this forever time capsule of my 20s. I can imagine my future children asking about my life. And I'll just put them in front of whatever streaming service still showing Riverdale reruns. You can bet fans will be watching reruns for years to come too." Reinhart has always been open about her own mental health and anxiety issues, which is why her fans love her honesty and flock to her Instagram account. Are you one of her 28.7 million Instagram followers? You may recall her vivid comments about Kim Kardashian's 16-pound weight loss just to fit into a Met Gala dress, which Reinhart felt was problematic for young girls struggling with their body image. Upon wrapping up her role as Betty Cooper in Riverdale, Lili Reinhart is focusing on her post-show career. The actress currently stars in the Netflix film Look Both Ways, a romantic comedy about paths both taken and not taken. She also has a production deal with Amazon. "I want to keep pivoting from one genre to another," she said. "After doing a romance, I want to go in the opposite direction. I will never play the same characters twice. What can we expect to see her in next? A comedy or as a villain?" villain. Turns out she'd love to play a villain. I have the motivation, she said, laughing. Recently, I had to leave my dog in a hotel room and thought, if someone steals my dog, I'll go John Wick on that would turn me into a villain so fast. Maybe that's next for me, playing a more evil woman out for revenge. I have my origin story. Don't mess with my dog. On the subject of all things fierce and vengeful, let us return to Riverdale. In the now supernatural drama, Riverdale, the characters' lives have taken a turn that would make a Stephen King protagonist proud. In the latest season of Riverdale, the show's writers introduce a character who is more absurd than the town itself. Percival Pickens, Chris O'Shea, arrives in Riverdale at the same time that most of its residents gain superpowers. Riverdale's new villain, Percival, appears as a carbon copy of Hiram Lodge. They are both nefarious businessmen who want to buy up Riverdale and let the debauched ghoulies have the run of the land. Yet here is one thing that sets Percival apart from Hiram. While the latter is ruthless and murderous as a character in a mafia movie, Percival is downright sinister and supernatural, like a villain from a Stephen King novel. Hiram Lodge has its own brand of power and a ton of money. At the beginning of the series, he's imprisoned, but he doesn't stay that way for long. He soon becomes mayor of Riverdale and buys the local public schools so that he can establish a private for-profit prison. He is at times shockingly compassionate, lending a hand to his daughter Veronica, and at other times the opposite, running an underground fighting ring of juvenile delinquents and making numerous attempts on Archie's life. Percival lacks the complexity and humanity that Hiram appears to have. When Hiram is run out of town by Veronica, he plants a bomb under the Andrews house. The bomb unknowingly triggers a connection between Riverdale and its alternate universe, Riverdale. A new villain enters the picture. Archie, Betty, and Jughead survive the bombing, blessed with new supernatural abilities. The show Riverdale is not bound by the constraints of realism or believability. It exists in a cartoonish and campy universe. Cole Sprouse, who plays Jughead, explained to TVLine that we understand the sort of genres that we're fitting into and how to appeal to that audience. Percival's sister's tongue is like a magic wand. He can persuade almost anyone to do his bidding. As a thin and mysterious wizard, Percival certainly calls to mind King Randall Flagg. Stephen King's fictional character, Randall Flagg, can be described as an accomplished sorcerer and a devoted servant of the Outer Dark. Flagg has supernatural abilities involving necromancy, prophecy, and influence over animal and human behavior. Sound familiar? Percival wants to monopolize the town and control it as much as Hiram does. He quickly becomes mayor by getting all the homeless people to move out of town, solving the town's housing problem on a surface level. He even runs a curiosity shop, just like the villain in Needful Things. And as we all know, curiosity shops are often associated with evil characters and cursed items. The transition in tone from Hiram to Percival in Riverdale marked a new direction of the show, which now entertains the supernatural without question. The supernatural villain in Riverdale has ushered in a new era for the series, one which finally puts aside any claims of realism. The show is now free to be as campy as possible, complete with a villain ripped from the pages of a Stephen King novel. While you wait for the next season of Riverdale, we recommend checking out Look Both Ways, the Netflix movie starring Lili Reinhart. How hyped are you for Riverdale's 7th season? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.